If you are in your 50s, well, it's kind of crunch time because retirement could be right around the corner for you, and you want to make sure your investments are on track along with your goals. My name is Keith Wilson, and I am a financial advisor helping folks just like you prepare for their retirement. And in this video, I will be covering some strategies for positioning your assets for, hopefully, a smooth landing.
Lightning strikes and then you're gonna know my name.
Okay, so how should you be investing and where should you have your retirement dollars located if you are in your 50s? Well, the answer to that could depend on just what your goals are. It could be different if you are even 52 or 55 or 58. So since I don't know you and your specific goals, I can at least give you some guidelines to consider. I always like to compare people that are in their 50s with landing a plane. So you could be, 5, maybe 10 years away from retiring. So think of it as a plane preparing to land, making its final descent to its destination, and in this case, it's retirement. If you have seen my videos in the past, you probably have seen where I've been talking about having a three-bucket strategy with your retirement dollars. And I'll put a link to a video that I did about the three-bucket strategy right up there so you can see it later. So what am I talking about? Three-bucket strategies. Money in a tax-deferred account, like an IRA or a 401k. Money in tax-free, like a Roth. And then money in a taxable account, like a brokerage account. Now, this could be important when it comes time to withdraw from these accounts because of the tax treatment of each one. Now, in my opinion, people place a lot of emphasis on asset allocation, like how much should be allocated to stocks and bonds and international and cash, which is important and it does matter. And I will get into some ideas about that later. But I would say that asset location is just as, if not more important. So take a look at where your retirement dollars are located right now. Is it all in a 401k or an IRA? Well, then you are going to have a tax bomb on your hands when you start withdrawing money for retirement income. You see, when I build a retirement plan for someone, and project what income is going to be needed, I have to take into account taxes. So by having a combination of a tax-deferred, tax-free, and taxable account, it gives flexibility when it comes to withdrawing money from those accounts. And usually what I notice is that the order of which accounts you withdraw from matters. Usually, you would want to withdraw from your taxable account first, because if there are capital gains tax to be paid, it would be taxed at a lower rate, usually. So for most people, the long-term capital gains tax rate is 15% and not taxed at ordinary income tax rate. Then when you reach RMD age, which if you are in your 50s now, that would be age 75. Then you would withdraw that required minimum distribution from your tax-deferred account, like your 401k or IRA. And what you're doing is you're leaving your Roth alone for that long-term potential growth. Because when you withdraw from that, it would be tax-free. Now, I got to back up, caveat, as long as you've had it for 5 years and you're over 59 and a half. So if you haven't gotten those three buckets in place already, you may want to start spreading your contributions into it now. And as you get closer to your retirement age, and I would say 5 to 7 years before you retire, consider setting aside 2, maybe 3 years worth of income you will need when you retire in cash. Then when you retire, pull from that first. And this is important because of sequence of returns risk. So if you were pulling money from an account that is invested in the market right when you retire, what happens if it's a down market that year? So by pulling from your cash in those first couple of years, hey, that could give that investment account time to recover. How do you invest within those three buckets? Well, consider your time horizon for the need of that money. If you decide to start withdrawing money from your taxable account first, then I would consider a moderate allocation, say 60% to stocks, 40% in bonds, and also perhaps consider ETFs or exchange traded funds for that taxable account. So since ETFs are for the most part passively managed, you shouldn't run the risk of capital gains distributions like you would have with mutual funds. Now, with the IRA and the Roth IRA bucket, mutual funds could be used, and you wouldn't have to worry about capital gains or capital gains distributions as they are taxed differently. So the longer your time horizon for the need of the money, the more aggressive you could get, and that really depends on your risk tolerance. As you get closer to tapping into those accounts for income, consider paring back a bit on the risk. And just because you may have a high risk tolerance, you need to consider your risk capacity, because you don't want to jeopardize your financial stability and other objectives. Hey, look, investing in your 50s can be a little tricky as you are getting closer to retirement. And there's a lot to consider, like taxes, risk tolerance, your time horizon, goals, and objectives. Obviously, everyone is going to be a little different, so you may want to consider talking with a financial advisor to help you navigate through this. And if you would like to talk with me personally, check out the resources in the description below to get in touch with me. Until then, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this, and we will see you next time.
If I don't know any limitations.